everyone, this is CricketSong with Lunar Wisdom, and today I want to talk about tarot cards versus oracle cards. And the reason why I want to talk about this today is because I had a viewer subscriber send me a message and basically asking what's the difference between tarot and oracle cards outside of the structure. Can tarot cards be read the same as oracle cards? And they brought up the example of the Osho Zen cards. I have not used them. I've seen pictures of them, but I haven't used that particular deck. And I guess it is considered, came across, is it tarot? Osho Zen cards? Yeah, our tarot cards. So this person wants to know if the Osho Zen cards were labeled oracle instead of tarot, would there really be a difference? If a person can still understand their meanings by the pictures and the one-word descriptions, won't the cards still give the same meanings? Would it really matter if a person didn't know all the numerology and astrological correspondences associated with tarot? And what would be the sense of learning cards from the traditional tarot perspective, and what I label intuitive readings? All right, so those were basically the questions. So I'm going to, and I have some notes, so I want to answer these questions. Okay, so the difference between tarot and oracle are structure. Definitely structure is the big difference, and I know the individual who wrote me this message didn't want to talk about the structure, but I want to talk about it very briefly. So the thing that makes a deck a tarot deck is that it has 78, sometimes 79 cards, and they're split between 22 major arcana. They're numbered 0 to 21, and then the 4 suits, which are, or the minor arcana: cups, swords, wands, pentacles. They may be labeled different things, but that's basically the setup. And sometimes the extra card is the unknown card. Some decks throw that in there. Now, with the tarot cards, the major arcana follow the Fool's journey, or an individual's spiritual awakening or enlightenment. And it tells a story from 0 to 21. And then the other cards will help distinguish different things along that individual's journey. They give us more in-depth information. But you can do a reading with just the 22 cards. Now, oracle cards don't have a set number, don't have a set structure. They're free-flowing, and there is any number of cards within it, any situation, any way that they want to set them up. There's no structure. So that's what makes tarot cards tarot and oracle cards oracle cards. The structure. Okay, so now this individual really wanted to talk about the difference between them other than the structure. Now, I have used oracle cards. I don't have a lot of decks. I think I have 2 different decks of oracle cards that I have used. They give a more general outlook of a situation or a reading, where tarot tends to have more in-depth meanings, symbolism associated with them. Usually the tarot have numbers on them because they're numbered. They'll have images. They will have specific symbolism that has been used over the years, because they're this set structured thing, this tool. Now, you can read the tarot and the oracle cards in the same way. And I think what we're talking about here is more intuitive readings, where you are looking at the card and you have no set ideas about what the card is. You are just looking at it, and you may look at the word that may be listed on the card and pick up some messages from that. You can use tarot cards in a very general way, just as you can use oracle cards in a very general way. You may get specific messages from the oracle cards as well as from tarot cards. What were the other questions? So yes, they can be read in the same manner. Yes, they can. So what really would be the difference? In this Osho Zen deck, they're asking what would be the difference, and I believe that there was an idea or a standard at one time that cards that followed this particular structure were labeled tarot, and everything else was labeled oracle cards. I don't know if that's still the case. I think you might be able to go out there and pick up a deck of cards that are labeled tarot that may not follow that structure. So you want to be careful as to what you're buying if you're looking for a, true or standard tarot deck. Now, if a person can understand the meanings by the pictures and the one-word descriptions, wouldn't the cards still give the same meanings? Yes and no. Now, what I do want to point out that when you are using a tool, whether it be tarot cards, whether it be a wand, when you're using a tool that has been used for a specific purpose for years and years and years, that particular tool builds up an intention or an energy or a power of its own, as well as the power and the intention and the energetic vibration of all those individuals that used that tool before you. So, when you're using a tarot deck, and let's say you don't know any of the the general symbols that are associated with it, you don't know any of the traditional symbols, you don't know any of the archetypes, you don't know any numerology, any astrology associated with it, you don't know any of that, but you're picking up this tarot deck and you're going to use it for divination, just as many individuals prior to you have. You're going to be tapping into that vibrational frequency. You're going to be tapping into that power that a tarot deck holds because of all the people who have used it before you. You're aligning yourself with this vibrational frequency. It's going to be different with oracle cards because oracle cards are so free-flowing. There is no set structure for an oracle card deck. So when you're using an oracle card deck, you may be tapping into the frequency of those who use that specific oracle card deck, but it's not going to be, from my personal perspective, as great as using tarot, because tarot has had a specific structure for many, many years. Now, if you become adept at reading the traditional symbology that is within the tarot deck, the astrological associations, the elemental associations, the archetype associations, if you start learning that, your readings will give you much more depth than just an intuitive reading. And I'm not saying that intuitive readings are not deep. But what I'm saying is, when you start digging and getting more out of the card, your readings will be that much deeper. Sort of more comprehensive is even maybe a better word to use here. So, I guess the next question they had was, would it really matter if a person didn't know all the numerology and astrological correspondences? I don't know. I mean, would it really matter? I guess it would really depend on what your intention is. Like I said, if you know the correspondences and you know the symbology and you know the archetype and you know astrological associations, your reading is going to be more comprehensive. So, I mean, it would depend on what your intention is going into the reading. what would be the sense in learning the cards from the traditional tarot perspective? Well, it's not necessarily a sense, but again, it's more information. It's more images and ideas and concepts that you would be familiar with, where you might see the pieces of the puzzle. The picture may be in more detail for you. I don't think it's necessary, but I think it adds more layers to your readings when you learn the traditional meanings of things. But if you are a very open individual and you are very intuitive and you pick up on the subtle energies of things, you may pick up on those things anyways when you are gazing and looking at a tarot deck and the images. I think, and like I said, for me, the structure and the idea of tapping into the energy of the tarot, I am tapping into the energy of those who have used the tarot before me. And just as a witch, when I use my athame and I use my wand and my chalice and my pentacle, I am tapping into those symbols, those concepts that the other witches have for centuries before me. So that's why personally I use tarot more than oracle. So hopefully I answered the questions that this individual was asking. If you have any other questions, please feel free to put them in the comment section of this video. And as always, I love you. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to share it with others on Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. This way you won't miss any of my newly uploaded videos. And be sure you've connected with me on Facebook, either through my CricketSong fan page, Lunar Wisdom business page, or by joining the Sacred Circle.